Good afternoon, children, and welcome back. So we were doing blood groups last week. Yes. So besides A and B antigen, there is one more antigen present on the RBC in some human population. Okay, and this factor is called as, or this antigen is called as the RH, the rhesus factor, which was first found in the rhesus monkeys. That's why it is called as rhesus factor. So when this antigen is present on the RBC, the persons are called as RH positive. So if the group is A, the person is called as A positive. B means B positive, like that. Okay, and the persons who doesn't have this RH on their RBC, they are considered as RH negative. Okay, right. Now this RH negative people, in their bodies there is no antibodies naturally. So once they can be given blood from RH positive people for the very first time and for the last time, they can receive blood from RH positive people, right? And if they receive RH positive blood, and their body can make antibodies against RH positive blood. Okay, so this one, on during blood transfusion, this comes to use. Okay, you have seen which group is the universal donors and which group is universal recipients. Okay, same way for blood transfusion, this RH factor also should be matched. Okay, this is seen in the case of erythroplastosis fetalis. What is that? Erythroplastosis fetalis. Okay, what is that now? This happens when there is a child in one pregnant in the one pregnant woman's womb, growing in one pregnant woman's womb, and the mother is RH negative, and the child growing inside the mother uterus is RH positive. Okay, the blood doesn't get mixed up, and the mother's body does not produce because she's negative. Okay, there is no antigen at all, so she doesn't have antibodies at all. So there is no problem in the first pregnancy, but after the delivery or during delivery, there is chance of mixing of the blood. Little bit of blood oozes from the fetus into the mother's blood. Okay, and this mother's blood or the mother's body starts preparing antibodies against this RH antigens. Okay, now that will be there in the blood. Okay, in the subsequent pregnancy, if the mother is carrying the baby with the positive RH positive, child with RH positive, then there is possibility of the mother's blood getting attacking the antibodies. They may pass through the placenta and attack the baby growing inside the womb, and the baby may die, or the baby may be born with so many malformation or so many defects. Okay, right. So that's so immediately after the first delivery, the mothers with this RH incompatibility, it is called as RH incompatibility between the mother and the child, and this is solved by giving or administering anti-RH negative antibodies, okay, to the mother immediately after the first delivery, so that the subsequent delivery, the child nothing may happen to the child in the subsequent delivery. Okay, so during erythroblastosis fetalis, the child may die, or sometimes the child is born alive with many malformation, as I told you, with severe anemia, jaundice, etc. Okay, so this is prevented by administering anti-RH antibodies to the mother. Okay, coming to the blood vessels, the main blood vessels are the arteries and veins. And about arteries, the arteries carry blood from the heart to the other organs or other parts of the body, and they carry oxygenated blood. Okay, and except pulmonary artery, which carry deoxygenated blood to the lungs from the ventricle, right ventricle. Okay, and veins carry deoxygenated blood except pulmonary vein, which carry oxygenated blood. Okay, they carry blood from other parts of the body to the heart. Okay, and the arteries they split into smaller arteries called as capillaries, and the capillaries join with, or we can also call that as arterioles. The main artery subdivides into arterioles, and the arterioles will join with venules. Venules will join the veins. Okay, coming to the third part of the vascular system or blood vascular system, the heart. Now, where is this heart placed, children? It is located in the thoracic cavity between the two lungs, and is slightly tilted towards the left side. That's why we hear our heartbeat from the left side. Okay, right. And the heart, what is the shape of the heart? And the heart is covered by well protected double layered pericardium, right? 2 layers are there, and in between the 2 layers you find there is a liquid or fluid which helps in reducing the friction between the heart walls and also the surrounding tissues. Okay, now we know the human heart inside has 4 chambers, 2 upper auricle or atria and the lower 2 ventricles, and each of these auricles and ventricles are well separated from each other by septum. Okay, in between the 2 auricles, left and right auricle, there is interauricular septum. Same way, between the 2 ventricles there is interventricular septum. Okay, and between atria and ventricles also there is a septum which is called the auriculoventricular septum. Auriculoventricular septum. Yes, one. Okay, now how that the blood from the atrias, both the left and the right atrias, receive the blood, oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, and they flow down into the ventricles. How do they flow down into the ventricles? There is a valve between the right auricle and the ventricle, and left auricle and the left ventricle. Between the right auricle and the right ventricle there is a valve called as tricuspid valve. What is that? Tricuspid. Why it is called as tricuspid, children? Because it has got 3 flaps of skin or something like that, which helps in opening and closing of these valves. Valves are actually openings, right? So not every time it is open or not every time it is closed, right? So this valves, this flap like structures helps to close and open the valves. So what is the name of the valve between right atrium and right ventricle? It is tricuspid valve. Same like left ventricle and left auricle, between them on the auriculoventricular septum there is again a bicuspid valve. Bicuspid because it has got only 2 flap-like structures, right? Which is this valve is also called as mitral valve. The ventricles send the blood from the heart into different parts of the body. From the right ventricle, the blood is carried by the pulmonary artery because it has the impure blood. Okay, so it has to go to the lungs, and the pulmonary artery carries impure blood to the lungs. At the beginning of this this pulmonary artery, there is again a valve, same like the left ventricle. Left ventricle receives pure blood from the left auricle, you know that. And from the left ventricle, pure blood is pumped to all parts of the body through aorta. So at the beginning of the aorta, again there is another valve called as, so both these valves are called as semi-lunar valves. What are they? They are present at the starting of the pulmonary artery and the aorta, which starts from the ventricle region. Okay, which are called as semi-lunar valves. Semi-lunar valves. Okay, right. Children, you know that the heart is a pumping organ. Right from the even before you are born till the time of your death, the heart keeps beating rhythmically. It has a particular rhythm of beating with a sound called as lub dub. Okay, the first sound what is heard is the lub, and the second sound is the dub sound. Okay, now how is this sound obtained? We'll discuss. And you know this heart is provided with highly efficient muscles called the cardiac muscle, specialized muscle to contract rhythmically, okay, which is called as the cardiac muscles. These muscles contract in a rhythmic fashion, and you also should know that the heart doesn't altogether contract and expand. First, the atrium contracts. Then when it starts to relax, the ventricles start contracting. Okay, the contraction of the heart, whatever atrium or ventricle, whatever is the case, the contraction of the heart is called as the systole. Okay, and the expansion, relaxation is called as diastole. Systole and diastole. You can also call as diastole or systole. Okay, the contraction is called as systole. The relaxation of the heart is the diastole. Okay, right. Now I told you the heart, the atrium contracts first, then starts relaxing. By the time the ventricle starts contracting. Now this heart is also called, or the muscles of the heart is also auto-excitable. Excitable means it can start its own contraction. Who is asking it to contract? Who is controlling it to contract and relax? It is auto-excitable. Right. Now we'll be talking about the muscles, specialized muscles of this heart besides the cardiac muscles. Okay. Now there is a group of muscles, or there is a group of nodal tissues. Now